Hey film fans, welcome to CinePro, your ultimate hub for all movie recaps. From heartwarming classics to the latest blockbusters. Our movie Dahmer starts with a boy named Jeff, who is 17 years old, and in his final year of high school. Jeff is sitting alone on the school bus, even though all his friends are playing and joking around. Suddenly, Jeff sees an athletic man running in the street, which grabs his attention so much that he gets up from his seat to watch him, even after getting off the bus. Afterwards, Jeff goes home and finds his mother busy with the interior designer who is fixing their house, so he goes out. On the way, he meets two of his teenage friends who are his age and live nearby. They notice he's holding a black bag and ask him what's inside. They're surprised when Jeff tells them there's a dead cat inside, and he's going to take it to his dad's lab to analyze it as his father is a chemist. The two boys decide to go with him and see for themselves. At the lab, Jeff puts the cat into a large amount of solution and tells them it will take about a month to decompose because the solution is very weak. They mock him, thinking he's joking and that the solution is just plain water. Jeff decides to prove it to them and shows them something he decomposed earlier. They get very disgusted by the smell and quickly leave. Jeff does this because he loves to explore things, find out what's inside them, and see their bone. When his friends leave, he goes back home to have lunch with his family. In the middle of the conversation, he asks his father about a stronger substance that can decompose anything faster. He seems very interested, but his mischievous little brother interrupts, and his father tries to convince Jeff to join more school activities to become more social and have more friends. The next day, Jeff goes to school, where his classmates bully him, calling him stupid. He's always alone, except for one friend who approaches him during lunch. They talk, get to know each other, and Jeff invites him to a music party. But this friend is similar to Jeff, also bullied and beat. After school, Jeff returns home and goes to his dad's lab, having stolen a small dead animal preserved in a jar from the school lab. He's very excited to examine it and spends a long time in the lab. When his dad comes home and doesn't find him, he asks his little brother where Jeff is, finds out and goes to the lab angry. He takes all the things Jeff cares about and throws them in front of him, telling him he needs to get out of his shell, live his life like any other kid his age, have friends and do more activities. He locks the lab and leaves to force Jeff to move on. Jeff goes back to school, and one day on his way home he sees the same man running again and focuses on him just like the first time. He finds a bone on the ground, takes it and decides to keep and examine it. When he gets home, his dad comes to his room to apologize for what he did, explaining he was just worried about him and didn't want him to live the same isolated life he did, locked up in the lab all the time. He gives Jeff some dumbbells as a gift so he can work out, but makes sure no one sees him. One day at school, the teacher asks Jeff a question, but he can't answer and responds in a silly way, making strange noises that make the whole class laugh at him. He decides to do it again, thinking they'll find him funny and want to be his friends. When he leaves the classroom and sees them all gathered, he acts again, makes the same noises and throws himself on the ground as if he's having a seizure. He succeeds in getting their attention, and they laugh and talk about him. At lunch, Jeff is surprised when three classmates call him over to sit with them. It's the first time this happens, and he's very happy. He meets them: John, Neil, and Mike. John tells him he's very funny and they want to be friends. Jeff smiles, agrees, and tells them he's imitating the interior designer who used to come to their house. He gets closer to them and invites them to his house after school. When Jeff tells his mother his friends are coming, he's shocked to find her searching for pills in her bag. He's shocked because she had quit her addiction long ago, but now she's relapsed. He advises her to see a doctor as soon as possible, then goes out to his friends, apologizes and suggests they go for a walk somewhere else because his mother is sleeping and sick, and he doesn't want to disturb her. Neil suggests they go visit the girl who was prom queen at their school, who lives on Jeff's street. Jeff goes to talk to her, pretending to be from the school newspaper and wanting to write an article about her. She feels he's hitting on her and slams the door in his face. His friends, watching from a distance, laugh at him. The next day, Jeff goes fishing with his friends. When he catches a fish, he violently cuts it open with a knife, shocking his friends. He explains he wanted to see what was inside it. They all feel a bit disgusted, but don't think it's a big deal coming from Jeff. John visits Jeff's house more than once, but Jeff feels embarrassed because of his parents' constant fighting, not caring that their son's friend is in the house. Over time, their problems get worse, and they neglect Jeff and his brother, always busy and ignoring them. This leads Jeff to start drinking. When he sees his father drinking, he steals the bottle and goes outside. He also becomes attracted to strange people, like Fig, a student at their school known for being a failure and a drug user who also supplies students. One day, Fig talks to Jeff and his friends, pulls a knife from his bag, cuts himself, and starts wiping his blood. At that moment, all Jeff's friends leave except Jeff, who stands there, focused and fascinated by what Fig is doing, not wanting to leave. When they meet again, Jeff is surprised when Fig shows him a gun he stole from his father and asks Jeff to go hunting and kill animals with him. Jeff gets scared, gives him back the gun and runs away. But then he returns to collecting dead animals from the streets to dissect them, and he becomes addicted to alcohol, even going to school drunk and out of it. All his friends notice the change in him. Then they all go on a school trip to Washington. Jeff shares a room with Charlie, the only black student at their school. Jeff is very curious to ask him if his internal organs are the same as those of people with light skin. They laugh and say they want to do an interview with the vice president and publish it in the school magazine. Jeff takes them seriously and decides to fulfill their request, going to call the White House, and actually manages to convince them to let them come for a meeting. The vice president and his friends are very happy, and when they arrive there, they are welcomed and spoken to, and asked what they want to do when they grow up. When it's Jeff's turn, he says he wants to work in biology. After the trip ends and Jeff returns home, he talks to his father, who tells him he has decided to officially separate from his mother. At that moment, Jeff falls into a depression and goes back to drinking heavily, to the point where he drinks at school. When he returns, he finds out that his father has left the house and gone to stay at a hotel. His mother takes him and his brother and goes there. Jeff and his brother see their parents fighting over custody, which makes Jeff distance himself from both of them and feel lost in his life. The next day at school, his friends agree to make him go to the mall, do his weird sounds and movements to scare people, and film him. One friend objects, feeling that they treat Jeff like a clown whose only purpose is to make them laugh, but they don't care about his opinion. They go to Jeff and offer him money to go to the mall during the holiday. Jeff agrees, takes the money, and when they go, he is very drunk. He starts falling to the ground and pretends to have an epileptic seizure. His friends, along with many students from school, stand at a distance filming him and laughing at him. Afterwards, Jeff returns home, and his mother meets him and tells him she has officially divorced his father, will leave the house, and is moving out. Jeff responds coldly and leaves as if he didn't hear her, then goes to the woods, taking a baseball bat with him. He waits for the man who always jogs around the house, planning to kill him, but gets angry when he doesn't show up and breaks a tree in the woods with the bat. He sits for a while in the forest. After he leaves, two children from the same neighborhood are walking and say they don't want to go with him, mocking him by saying that no girl would agree to go with him. Jeff feels insulted and decides to go to a girl named Bridget and convinces her to go with him. At first, she is afraid of him because of his strange behavior at school, but eventually agrees when Jeff promises to control himself and not bother her. The day of the graduation party comes, and his friends are shocked when they see him arrive with a girl. Jeff starts dancing with her, but feels very nervous because he doesn't know how to interact with girls, so he leaves her and goes to sit and eat in his car, not finishing the party. The next day, he returns from school and finds his mother taking all her belongings to go live with his grandmother after the divorce, taking his younger brother with her. This means they will be separated and won't be with him at his graduation. He goes to his room, devastated and crying, and the next morning goes to school for his last day, wearing his graduation gown, the only one obviously sad and lonely. His father congratulates him on graduating and tells him he is proud of him. At night, Jeff is walking in the forest road, and John asks him about the red stains on Jeff's hands and nails. Jeff quickly saves himself by saying it's just red paint, so John doesn't suspect anything. Although John is uncomfortable, he tries to act normal. When they arrive at the house, Jeff insists on inviting John in to sit with him and have a drink. He is determined to get John inside and keeps pushing until John agrees. As soon as John enters the house, which is completely dark and empty, he feels scared and uncomfortable, especially when he sees Jeff approaching him suspiciously. John quickly leaves, saying he has to go home for dinner with his family. Jeff follows him without saying a word, holding the baseball bat, and is about to hit John, but luckily John hurries to his car and drives off quickly before Jeff can hurt him. After that, Jeff goes to his room not in his normal state, trying to control the strange thoughts in his mind that constantly push him to kill a human, explore his body and dissect it like he does with animals. After drinking a lot, he sleeps and wakes up in the morning, takes the car his father left him and drives around the house. By coincidence, he sees someone leaving a party and standing in the street. Jeff decides to go back to him with the car, learns his name is Steven, and offers him a ride. Jeff is happy and very excited. Unfortunately, Steven becomes the first victim of the famous American serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer, after he kills him. Investigations later confirmed that Steven went to Jeffrey's house on June 18. In 1991, Jeffrey was arrested after confessing to killing 17 people. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all new updates. See you in the next